Jeff Sessions made some comments about the opioid issue recently, and he made a point that got me pretty mad. Let's watch, and then I'll explain why.
A lot of factors out there for our physicians. We've got to reverse some of the trends that have been occurring. These changes will help us prevent addiction from happening in the first place. And that's the most important thing. We need to stop addiction. The plain fact is, I believe, and I am operating on the assumption that this country prescribes too many opioids. I mean, people need to take some aspirin sometimes and tough it out a little bit. That's what General Kelly, he's a Marine. He had a surgery on his hand. It's painful surgery. He said, I'm not taking any drugs. It did hurt, though. It did admit it hurt. But, I mean, a lot of people, you can get through these things.
Take some aspirin and tough it out. Thank you, Dr. Sessions. Who the fuck do you think you are? Listen, there are chronic pain patients in this country who now, because of the crackdown on opioids, can't find a doctor who will prescribe them their medication. I know because I get messages from them all the time, because I'm one of few voices in public that's speaking out about this and saying, whoa, you're swinging the pendulum too far in the other direction now. So they have guidelines now for doctors when it comes to opioids. They say they're voluntary guidelines, but now doctors are just petrified that, no, they're going to use this to, bring a legal case against me. So doctors are now under-prescribing in many cases, which leaves chronic pain patients in pain. So you have an increase in suicides among those chronic pain patients. Or another thing that happens is, since they can't get the pills anymore, they go, I have no choice, but now I got to go get fucking heroin from the black market. And then sometimes those people overdose on the heroin. So, and what's funny is, in a different part of the speech, Jeff Sessions brings up fentanyl. Well, fentanyl's the real problem. Right. So why are you pushing people to it? People go from the pills, then they take the pills away, then they go, oh, fuck, I got to go get heroin on the black market. And then what happens is, oftentimes that heroin is laced with fentanyl, and that's when you get the overdoses. So you're making the problem worse. They think they're making it better. They're making it worse. And again, I get messages all the time from these chronic pain patients who are like, I can't get my medicine anymore. I'm not an addict. I'm not somebody who's abusing. I'm somebody who needs the pain pills to live a normal life and not want to fucking commit suicide. And Jeff Sessions is out there going, take an aspirin. Tough it out. Suck it up. What? And listen, I have to say, and this is a portion of the story that maybe even many people in my audience would disagree with me on this, but this is an issue where the left is missing. The left is not going to talk about these poor pain patients who are roadkill and collateral damage in this crackdown on the pain pills. Why? Because pain pills are from Big Pharma. Big Pharma is evil. Therefore, any crackdown on them, no matter how strong, is justified. That's the ideology from a lot of people on the left. So they view the crisis as the crisis of addiction. They don't see the other side of that crisis, which is the crisis of pain patients who are now back to being in chronic pain and oftentimes committing suicide because they can't get the pills because there's too much of a crackdown on the pills. So, and listen, I've said this a million times before, and I'll say it a million more. You can be against Big Pharma. I'm against Big Pharma. I'm against the fact that they make political contributions to politicians and they get almost whatever they want in policy. I'm totally against Big Pharma. But at the same time, I'm against Big Pharma. I understand that doesn't mean that vaccines are bullshit. Vaccines are correct. They're right. And they're necessary. By the same token, you can be, against the overprescription of many of these opioids while at the same time understanding, hey, you've swung the pendulum too far in other ways, and now you're keeping pain pills from patients who fucking desperately need them. And that's the thing. Again, you're not going to hear people talk about this often, but there's an even bigger opioid crisis than the one that's talked about constantly in the media, and that opioid crisis is the opposite, which is there are developing countries that don't have access to any of these pain pills. And so people have stage 4 cancer, and they're rolling around in their bed in pain, screaming from the pain because it's that bad, and they have no way to take the edge off when they're on the way out and they have stage 4 cancer. So there's a crisis in the rest of the world, in the developing world, of they don't have nearly enough of these drugs. It's a very first world problem. It's a very first world problem. It's a very first world problem crisis to deal with. There's too many of these pills. And I'm not trying to poo-poo it. I get it. Like, it is a problem that there was a lot of overprescription of it. But you don't want to swing the pendulum too far in the other direction and keep the pills from patients who desperately need it. Because I've read the panicked messages. People have said to me, thank you for speaking out on this issue. Nobody's speaking out on this issue. And my life is hell now because I can't get access to my medication because of idiots like Jeff Sessions who crack down so much to the point where they tell people, suck it up if you're a chronic pain patient. Take an aspirin. I mean, that's honestly just a stupid way of thinking, that you're just a dumbass if that's, like, suck it up. Like, what the fuck? What was this, 1906? And you're some idiot who doesn't believe in modern medicine? Well, the answer is yes, that's his fucking mentality, and you see it across the board. So, fuck you, Jeff Sessions. Oh, and the most important point. Okay. If you guys really gave a shit about this issue, the first thing you do is be pushing Kratom. But no, the FDA is flirting with a giant crackdown. They already tried to crack down once and they had to back off of it because fucking over 99% of the comments were like, if you take this away, we're fucking coming for you. And now they're trying again, like, oh yeah, Kratom is an opioid and you need to be careful with them. Now it's not, they haven't added it back to Schedule 1, but it's on the monitored substances list. What the fuck is that Orwellian bullshit? Monitored substance. What the fuck? The fuck you monitored substance? Like, what is this? Back the fuck off. Now, Kratom helps people with PTSD, helps people with anxiety, helps people with depression, helps people with chronic pain, helps people with a variety of things. Addiction probably being one of the most important ones. And now the FDA is cracking down on it. Well, if you really cared about helping people who were going through addiction with the pills, you'd be pushing Kratom and saying, here's the cure, here's the solution for you, because it helps so many people. But no, they don't do it. They tell you to take an aspirin and suck it up because Jeff Sessions is a monumental idiot, and he's not a deep thinker, and it comes through on this issue, and it comes through on the marijuana issue and virtually every other issue he talks about.